Welcome to Hygiene and Self-Care. The purpose of this module, this PowerPoint, is to be able to provide you with some tips for parents, and some of those tips can be taken and used with service providers when they're working with children and youth in their agencies. And the big focus is how do we manage hygiene? And a change that is very monumental really for all girls as they're growing up is when they start their periods. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about menstruation and finally some more strategies for general hygiene. Puberty changes bring new challenges for all children and youth, and it suddenly might seem that the children that you care for or your child will change overnight. That suddenly they have oily, greasy hair and they start to smell bad. That's a really good sign that puberty's arrived, and maybe they start getting pimples. And so when we teach hygiene to the children that we work with and we care for, it's important to focus on the two main reasons. Number one is that we need good hygiene for health, and the example that most people can understand is that if we don't clean our teeth, we may get cavities and gum disease. But the other reason is that for social reasons, it's good to have fresh smelling breath. And so in our society, good hygiene is seen as a social asset and a positive social quality, and it can make us feel good about ourselves. So we do need to pay particular attention to children and youth with disabilities. They may need some extra help to follow those hygiene rules and routines, and in fact this might be something that they need help with all of their lives. They may struggle reading the social cues of other people, knowing when to fix a hygiene issue, and here the example is smelly breath, or maybe the flies on their pants are undone, or they've spilled food, something along those lines. They may need a reminder to correct that and to make some changes. And particularly if the youth you work with or your child has a physical disability, they may need extra help with personal care. And this can be challenging. It can challenge their independence as they're growing up and going through puberty. They want to do more for themselves, and so that can be difficult. It is important, as with all of our teaching, to have some consistent messages so that when they're at home and when they're at their school or their group home or the agency where they receive service, that they're getting the same kind of messaging. And it really can have a huge impact when those messages reflect each other and work together. And what we do know is that in terms of personal hygiene, using the washroom, taking a shower, being able to dress and undress, the more independent a child or youth is, the less risk they are to of sexual exploitation. So as with many of the other skills that you will be teaching your children, practice makes perfect, and hygiene and taking care of oneself takes time to learn, so it's very similar. It's important to help children develop basic hygiene skills as early as possible. So some of the more simple things like teeth cleaning and hair brushing and hand washing, those apply to children from a very early age. They're not related to puberty. By teaching them how to follow a routine and to be able to do something every day and to know what to look for when they're doing these particular skills will help them as they then progress on to the skills that may be a little bit more difficult to manage. And so then as they get closer to puberty, start to introduce the new skills before they need them, so that they're prepared and they have some time to learn them, start adding them to the routine. And a particularly important thing is help them understand where you keep all of the hygiene supplies. So the easy stuff that they're going to see every day might be shampoo and shower gel, but when you start adding things like deodorant, or particularly when girls are menstruating and you start adding the menstrual supplies, keep those things in the same place every time. Routine is going to really help that child practice to make perfect. So on the right of this slide, you will see a screenshot of our website talking about sexuality in Canadian communities. So if you click on the link below, and just by the way, if the link isn't working for you, you can actually copy and paste it into into your browser, and it will take you to this page. And the idea is that this page was developed so that you can actually sit down with a child or youth and go to the different parts of the body, and it will give you some tips about why that area needs to be kept clean and how you can manage hygiene for that particular area. So a major topic for girls and their families and their providers when they're going through puberty is menstruation, starting your period. And the link here will take you to a section of our website that will give you lots of information about what to expect with menstruation, how to talk to girls about having their periods. And what I will also be doing when you see me face to face is taking you through a couple more strategies about how to teach this really important area of hygiene and personal care that girls need to use. The next few slides, I'm going to take you through a few strategies, and you will no doubt have strategies and routines that work for the children that you care for. And so what you'll see here on the right is a routine, a chart basically, a routine chart to help children and teens understand and follow a routine for their personal hygiene. And I really encourage you to use charts, to use the picture symbols, use photographs, cut pictures out of magazines and newspapers to make your own chart that works for your child. And everybody's routine is going to be different. So this one is a stay healthy routine that I have used with students in the classroom. And although we have take a shower as the first thing on the chart, we know that some students won't be able to shower or bathe in the morning. There's just not enough time. So instead they would do that in the evening. But using these charts, using them both at home and either at school or in other settings can help establish routines. Another very important strategy when you're teaching life skills is to be very hands-on. And at Sexual and Reproductive Health with Alberta Health Services, we have puberty kits, and the puberty kits are used to teach children and youth how to manage their hygiene. And so when I see you at the face-to-face, I'm going to be bringing one of the puberty kits with me, and I'll be able to show you some of the items. But if you click on the link below, it will give you a list of the items, and certainly at home you're going to have many of these items, and children and teens are going to have particular items that are useful and specific to them. But this kind of kit can be built, can be made up by a school, a program, an agency, and you can have that on hand to teach puberty as issues arise. So many of you who are taking part in this training will be very familiar with something called social stories. They're called different things. Sometimes they're called social stories, sometimes they're called social narratives. But here is a really great idea that, and I've just referenced at the bottom, the Indiana Resource Center for Autism, and adapted this. And basically you could make this and insert any celebrity, singer, actor, actress, anybody that you feel the teens that you work with, the children you work with, look up to. And so in this one we have JB, Justin Bieber, sweats a lot when he's singing at his concerts. And so it's written in the first person. So it could be written, you could make one for each individual student. So I sweat too when I'm in gym class. Justin likes to smell clean for his fans, family and friends. I can stay clean and fresh by taking a shower, using deodorant and changing into clean clothes. Then I will smell good just like Justin. What we're trying to do here is normalize healthy routines, healthy hygiene. And we're basically saying, you know what, everyone sweats. And Justin Bieber, who is someone that I look up to and I admire, if he is able to take care of his hygiene, then I will be able to do the same. So this is just an activity that could be adapted dependent on the child. So in this next one, we are considering a social narrative. And so the difference here is that this social narrative is about Emily. And so Emily is our student or our child, our teen here. And the example we're using here is having a period. But again, this could be around bathroom hygiene. It could be around shower routines at home in the evening. It could be around teeth cleaning, all sorts of hygiene topics. And in this instance, what we're considering is Emily's day. And Emily is a high school student, and she goes to an access program, and her classes are 90 minutes. So what we've done is we've been able to schedule some routine here based on times of her classes. So when Emily begins her period, she will wear long pants for 7 days, and she'll carry her pads and an extra pair of clean underwear in her backpack. So consider this to be almost instructions. It's just instructions that she's following. And every 90 minutes she will change her pads. So you could adapt the times based on the skill that you're trying to teach and the particular circumstances of that particular team. And she will put the used pad in the garbage, and she will wash her hands after changing her pad. So very prescriptive. Definitely the explanation and the instructions for her to follow as she goes through her day. And now it's time for question 2 on the discussion board for module 2. And so this is time we're asking you to share something, share a strategy or approach that you use with a child or youth to take care of their and teach about puberty and hygiene. And it can really be anything. Even the smallest of strategies can really work so well. And I find that when parents in particular are able to share some of their ideas, it suddenly can really change how they approach a particular skill or an issue or a concern with their child. So it might be a web resource, it could be a book that you use, that you borrow from the library to teach something, it might be an activity, it could be a social story, but we're really looking forward to reading some of your ideas.